Okay, good evening everybody. 8 o'clock and tonight we are doing a cricket club webinar. We're going to be stepping through a little bit of background first of all, then we'll talk about what the system does, why we do it, and then I'll show you how we do it. So there is our batting order there, excuse the pun. So let's just, I suppose, start with the background, and probably a strange slide to start with. A plan. That's kind of really where it all started many years ago. I was involved in managing a football team, and at the end of each match I would go tennis ball can and I would collect the weekly subs and the annual subs, and as I was collecting it, I was writing down on a scrap of paper who owes what, and once I've got enough money, the idea is I gave it to the committee, to the treasurer at the next committee meeting. But of course, being a man in his 20s, money never really made it where it should have. It was Saturday, we was at the bar afterwards, and of course, I've got a pocket full of cash, and that ended up behind the bar. So eventually, it did make its way to the treasurer, but it always felt like it come out of my pocket. Rolled on 15 or 20 years, I was back at the club and I saw this notice pinned up against the wall. And for those that can't read it, it simply says, "I'm doing this at 10:15 p.m. Easter Sunday evening, mainly because I don't think anybody takes us seriously anymore. I sent out a total owing a week or so ago for £301, and now it's gone up to £372." And it lists out who owes what. So it was quite clear that 15, 20 years had passed and things hadn't changed. I was also involved at this stage of running a youth football team. And I saw the problems, that it was the beginning of the season. Parents were giving you paper forms and checks whilst you're trying to run a training session. And then, of course, I had to then take that form and the money round to the membership secretary. The membership secretary had to do what he had to do with it, give the money to the treasurer, and it all just seemed very disjointed and very outdated. So that was really the nucleus for the idea, is let's try and make life easier. Let's use technology to make life easier. So that started the ball rolling in 2009. That's when we started the development work. This is what I looked like in 2009. Quite young, fresh and happy. And then 2011, the site went live. And the first iteration of the site was, the idea was fairly simple. Let's allow people to pay online. And then the site really evolved from there, with just the feedback that we got from all the people that started using our service. And the site has changed incredibly over the last 4 years. And now we help over 500 organisations manage their membership. And really, from a very small club that might have maybe only 50 or so members, right up to large organisations that manage over 10,000 members. Our system has been designed with great flexibility, so it works across many membership sectors. But because I come from that sporting background, that's really the core. I think we're very strong. Okay, so a little bit about us now. So we've now got 5 full-time member staff. We're looking to add a 6th onto a help desk. So we've got 2 full-time developers, a project manager, a tester, and myself at the moment. We're based in Hartfield in East Sussex. And for any of you that read Winnie the Pooh when you was young, or maybe to your kids now, we live in Pooh country, and Pooh Bridge is a 10-minute walk away, and there really is a place called Pooh Bridge. There it is there. So what do we do? What is Pay Subs Online? Well, it's a number of things, but we'll start with an online membership management system that helps you manage member registrations, membership renewals, membership cards. We'll come around to that later. Helps you safeguard members' data, helps you with your financial reporting. It helps you with your communication using a group email tool, and it allows you to sell products and services. It's also got a built-in event management system, so it can help you with online event registrations for things like social events, fundraising events, courses, tournaments, that type of thing. It also helps you with your fundraising, so you can organise a supporters club through it, also known as a 100 Club, and you can accept online donations too. And of course, it does payments. So it allows you to accept debit and credit cards, PayPal transfers, and bank transfers via the direct debit system. And of course, we allow you to record offline payment too, because let's face it, not everybody wants to do everything online, and there are people out there that still want to write a check or give you cash. Okay, so why do we do it? Well, we do it to help you so know what it's like to manage clubs. And we know that you guys have full-time jobs as well, and you shoehorn your club responsibilities into your spare time. So we want to help you save time processing new member registrations, managing renewals, reconciling payments, producing reports, banking, and communicating with members. So common everyday things that you do when you help administer your club. We also want to help improve safeguards. Now, by that, we mean giving secure online access for club officials to access membership information and tools. So I think we all kind of know what it's like at the moment. Somebody wants a copy of the latest spreadsheet. They have to email the membership secretary, then receives the email, then has to send it out to the club official. I'm guessing normally in a spreadsheet, sent over email, not particularly secure. So we help really safeguard that information so it's not just out there in the ether unprotected. And importantly, we only give access to relevant information. So, and we'll touch upon this during the demo. If you've got a coach or a coach for maybe your under 10s, and you only want to give him access to what he needs to see, which is the under 10s, we can help you do that. Okay, help you increase club income. So we want to make it easy for new members to join. So when they go to your website, at the moment, maybe what they have to do is they download a form, or they have to get it off the coach, then they have to fill out a paper form, and then they've got to fill out a check, and then they've got to send it off. We make it easy for members to join by giving you an online page, an online registration page that you can embed into your existing website. We help you track every penny owed. So there's nothing that falls off the radar. You can very clearly see who's paid and who hasn't paid, and that transparency really does help your payment collection rates. And we prevent money being misplaced. I know from being a coach that somebody may give you a check, you think you put it in your jacket pocket, and then the next committee meeting comes round and where's the check gone? So by taking online payments, it really does help audibility, and also help secure money. Again, we give you the tools to raise money online as well. So we'll go through those fundraising tools in the demo. And we like to make life easy. We like to make life easy for administrators by giving you specific tools for the job that you need. I'm guessing many of you are there at the moment. Manage your membership with an Excel spreadsheet, which is great, but technology has now moved on, and we've developed the tools specifically that you need to manage your membership. And we want to make it easy and convenient for members to pay. The checkbook is in its demise. People are now very used to paying online, and they like that ease of convenience of doing that. So that's why we do it. So we're going to take a look now on how we do it. So I'm going to switch over to a demo account that I've got set up here. I'm hoping now that you can see my screen. You can see my cursor move. And I'm going to step you through initially the basic setup of an account. Don't get overly confused in the setup process, because we actually do that for you as part of our service. So if you decide to use our service, then we build your online forms, we import your members in, and we really get you to a point where you're ready to go live. But we're just going to go through that initial setup process, and then we're going to look to see what it looks like on a day-to-day basis, managing your membership and online. Really, by the end of the webinar, I hope that I've given you a good idea of this is how you can do it online, and then you can compare that to what you're doing now, and then you can make an assessment to what you think is best for the club. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to subscription options and membership categories. So this allows you to replicate membership categories on here. So I'm going to add a new membership category, and let's call this 2015 cricket. I can spell cricket club membership. Let's call it juniors. Okay, is it a joint membership category or not? What a joint membership category means is you might have a family membership where you've got mum, dad, little Johnny, little Janie, and they all join together and they pay one fee, and that fee is levied against the lead member. So you can select a joint membership, and you can say, okay, 6 people can join into that joint membership, and you can also say whether people in that joint membership can be included in other membership categories without being charged. So, for example, they're in the family membership, and you may want little Johnny in the juniors, and you want dad in the seniors, but you obviously don't want to charge them because they pay already for their family membership. So you have that option there, but I'm going to select no to that one. At renewal time, what do we want to do? Do we want to create a new membership category and give members the option to renew? That's very typical for a cricket club. Or do you want to have the system automatically renew members? So I'm going to select give members the option to renew. If I did want the system to automatically renew members, maybe you're taking your annual subs monthly across the year. That's fine. Then you can say, okay, I'm going to have the system renew the membership monthly. Okay, so limit the number of members that can join this membership category. If you're limited in space in any way, you can limit the number of people that can join, and then you can also set up a waiting list as well for people to be added to. This next option here relates to membership numbers. So if you have membership numbers for your club, you can prefix that membership number with the category that the member is in. So you might want to prefix this one with J. But I'm just going to select not applicable at the moment. Okay, next, cost for this membership category. So let's say this one's £60. We can offer an early payment discount, and we can discount it by a percentage or a fixed amount on or before a particular day. And when that day passes, and if people haven't paid by then the system will automatically switch to the non-discounted rate. We can allow members to pay by installments if you want to help your members spread the cost. Typically, some clubs do, some clubs don't. The reason where maybe traditionally some clubs haven't is because of the administration involved in managing the installment process. But with PaySubs Online, it's a very simple process. If I select yes, I'm going to allow them to pay by installments, I can say I'm going to give them the option to spread it over 3 monthly payments. And if I want, I can add an additional cost for members to pay by installments. So maybe I want to stick a tenner on there. So the amount payable is £70. And for people that opt to pay by installments, they're required to pre-authorize future payments to the club. So each time an installment becomes due, the system will automatically go off and collect the money, and it will reconcile it. So there's no more backdated checks or chasing people for the money. The system will do it automatically for you. So I'm going to leave that installment function on. Okay, next. We've got this option here. So when requesting payment from members, payment is due on request, and that's typical. But you might say it's due, I don't know, within 14 days. And all that means is when you're looking at the payment reports, there's a column in the payment reports that says when payment is overdue, and that number of days won't start counting until those 14 days have passed. I'm going to put that back on request. Allow members to change membership category. Not really for a cricket club. I mean, perhaps you might want to allow members to change between student and adult, but typically the main administrator would manage that process at the beginning of the season. You can move or copy people to a new group when they pay. So you might set up a group called paid members. So as people pay, the system will automatically move people into that group. Useful if maybe you want to give somebody access, maybe the chairman, just simple access to all the paid members. Maybe you don't want to give them access to the payment reports. You can have access to paid members, log in, see who's paid, something like that. Display the form for this membership category on the members, in the members online account. An important one, this one, and really good for saving administrators time, because it passes the responsibility of keeping information up to date back to the member. So at renewal time, what will happen is the member will get an email with a request for payment and a link to a login area, secure login area, where they can log in, check their information is up to date, and they can pay. That saves you, the administrator, the task of getting in a paper renewal form and then cross-checking that against last year's spreadsheet. So this feature really does save you guys a lot of time. Next is the online registration form. So we give you 3 pages that you can embed into your website. One is an online registration page. One is a login page for existing members, and one is an events page. So we're talking here about the online registration page, and the first option is, do we want to allow prospective members to register for this membership category via the online registration page? Typically yes, but you might get towards the end of the season and switch that to no, so nobody can sign up for the remaining few matches. Ask for payment at the point of registration. Some clubs are happy just to take payment for your registration there and then. Other clubs like to vet members first before they accept them. So your choice, you can select either or. If you select that you don't want to take payment at the point of registration, the members or the prospective members will end up in a group called Online Registration Wait and Approval, where you can go in there, you can check out their information, and you can either approve or remove them. Okay, next is the email templates. So each membership category comes with its own set of email templates. And that's particularly good because the message that you might want to send out to your junior section might be different to the message you want to send out to the seniors. And to put in very basic terms, it might be dear parent first name as opposed to dear little Johnny. So we give you a number of email templates that the system will use to help you automate some administration. The first one here is the payment request email template. And if I click on that, this is all fully customizable. You can set who you want it to come from. You can set the subject header. And it works just like a mail mode. So I can insert any of the fields that I've got on the system, and I've set some up already, and I can insert that into the email. And so wherever you see anything with a bracket, when that actually goes out to the member, the database will populate that field. But the important things here are, dear whoever it be, maybe first name or parent first name, this is the amount due, this is what it's for, this is your username, which is the member's email address, and this is the link to the member login page. So the member will receive that, and they'll have all the instructions of what they want to do in the email, and you can customize this to whatever you want to say, but there's some basic principles that you want to keep in there. You can also upload an attachment to the email as well. The next one is the welcome email template. So this is for new people joining. So this automates the communication with new members. So they register online, and as they do, the system will send them a welcome email. Again, thanks for registering. This is their username. This is the link to the member login page so they can keep their own info up to date. here, upload a file to it, particularly useful if you want to send them a welcome pack or maybe the code of conduct, any policies that you've got, you can do that there. Overdue payment reminder. So let's take the scenario where we've imported your members in, we've sent out a payment request and some members aren't paying, so we want the system to automatically chase them up. So we'll turn on the automatic payment reminder and we can say, okay, this is going to go maybe 10 days after the initial request. And it just gives them a little reminder. Excuse me, one sec. Okay, next is the installment notification email. So for those that have opted to pay by installments, you can select whether you want to send notification. It's basically just a heads up email to say, we're taking the money, you don't need to do anything, you pre-authorize future payments. Some clubs leave that on, other clubs turn it off, completely up to you. Okay, so once we've set up the membership category, the next thing to do is to build the form for the membership category. Each category can have its own form. So going back to the example again of juniors and adults and students, whatever the membership category is, sometimes what you want, the information you want to store on a form or capture on a form is different from membership category to membership category. So this is a junior one here. I can just come down and I can select some preset fields. If I want to create some custom fields, I can just click this link here and I can make fields free type answering. I can make things multiple choice. I can make it date related, for internal use only, for view only, so they can see information but they can't edit it. Make fields mandatory. There's a good example of some fields which I'll show you in a minute that you might want to make mandatory. You can also insert statements onto the form as well, so good for things like declarations, maybe photography consent, medical consent, that type of thing. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy the form. We'll give you some preset templates here, just some forms that we've built just with our experience of working with other clubs. So I'm going to copy this junior form template here. Okay, so that's copied and saved successfully. Just a point on here, when you are building your form, if you want to move things about, you can just drag and drop things to however you want them to appear. Okay, so what I want to do now is I just want to set up another membership category. Once you've got one set up, it's very quick and easy to set up another one. I just click on copy and I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this seniors and I'm just going to change the price there. Maybe on this one we don't want to allow them to pay by installments. There's one worth talking about. You can ask people to pre-authorize future payments to the clubs. Particularly useful for the seniors if you're collecting match fees each week. So if you make the pre-authorization request mandatory, when they log in to pay for their annual membership, they're essentially agreeing that each time the club requests payment from them, you can go off and you can automatically collect it and the system will reconcile it. So after a match, maybe the captain might log in and tick off who played, how much they owe, whether they paid cash on the day or not, and perhaps, well, if they've not paid cash on the day, as long as they've pre-authorized, you can then generate a payment request and the system will go off and collect the money for you. So definitely helps you collect those match day fees. If you want to come in here and edit the email templates, you can do, but I'm just going to click on save and finish. Okay, so one thing I need to do is I just want to amend the form for the seniors, because on our junior form I had some Let's just take a quick look at the junior form here. I had some questions on there that you would typically find on your junior form about medical conditions, doctor's name, surgery, guardian information, that kind of thing. Things that you typically wouldn't have on an adult form. So I'm just going to click here, copy the adult form template. So we can go through, very easily set up all your other membership categories. The next thing that we would do is set up your groups. So groups are good for organising your members into. So they would be in their membership categories, but we can also put them into squads and we can put them into age groups as well. So let's set up a group for under 10s. We can display the form for this group in the members online account. Typically for age groups you wouldn't, because we've already got the form for their membership category in the members online account, so no real need to add it for the age group. Display the option for people to register for this group on the registration page. I'm going to select yes there, and then it says, do I want to include the option to register for this group on the form of, and then it gives me an option to say, okay, include the option for people to register for the under 10s on the form of the junior membership category. And I'll tell you why that's useful, is that when somebody comes to register, they're going to select the junior membership category, and then at some point on the form, we're going to ask them what age group they're in, and they're going to select the age group. But that saves you, the administrator, the job of having to figure out who belongs to what age group, because the mum or the dad's already told you, okay, you might want to go in there and just verify against their date of birth, but they've done part of the administration for you. Make it a standalone option on the registration page. No, because we only want people to select it as part of the membership form. Now I can build a form for that age group. What I typically do here is don't include all the governance form. We just really want fairly basic information. If you think about the information that you'd want to give the coach access to, so he doesn't need the inside leg measurements, but he does want to know any medical conditions, he wants to know emergency contact information, that type of thing. So what you would typically do is load up the junior form template, and then you would remove the fields that perhaps you don't think that the coach would need access to. So things, I don't know, maybe, you know, what have we got on here? Volunteering, is the parent a first aid qualified, you know, the ethnicity. You can just knock things out just by clicking any of the round X's there. Okay, so once we've got one group set up, then we would simply copy that group and we'd go through and we'd set up all your different age groups. So let's just do an under 11s. And you do under 12s, under 13s, and so on. Then we would maybe set one up for senior first team. We wouldn't put the option for people to register for the first team on the senior membership form, just probably because people will choose what team they want to play for. So I would leave that at the discretion of the administrator. Okay, I'm going to save that. Okay, so you can set up other groups as well, groups maybe for your coaches. Maybe you want to allow the coaches to view their information in the online account. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Perhaps allow coaches to sign up. Maybe when you start using the system, we don't import everybody onto the system. We get everybody to register from scratch. So that might include coaches, so we can make that. And if I click on Save and Build Form here, I can select the coaches form template. And the type of information I've got on there are things like first aid certificate expiry date. I've got our DBS certificate number, DBS certificate expiry date. So the system really becomes a central hub for all of the information you need to hold on about your members, the parents, and your volunteers. Another idea for a group might be first aiders. Another one would be maybe for your committee. And once you've started to organize people into these groups, then the system will allow you to send targeted emails to those groups. If you want to send out an email to the committee, it's very easy for you to just come in here, send email, and you may choose to send an email out into your entire master membership list, maybe just to the juniors, maybe just to your committee, whoever it might be. You can just come in here, select, and because the membership database is connected to the group email tool, it's working off the latest contact information. You can come in here, you can write your email, again, like a mail merge, so you can select your field, insert that in, and then you can preview that to see what that's going to look like when it goes out. When people sign up for our service, the group email tool is not always at the top of their priority list, but when they start using the system, they absolutely love the convenience of having everything in one place. Okay, so let me just run you through the rest of this page here that we see. So we've got our master membership list. So I've already added some members into the system on just to make it quicker for us. If I click on my master membership list, I can see all my members in my master membership list. I come back to my members page. I've got another group called online registrations awaiting approval. So that's for people who register and perhaps we're not taking payment at the point of registration. They'll end up in there where I can approve or remove them. Failed registrations, that's where somebody goes to register online. They complete the registration process part, but they don't complete the checkout process. So it's a good place for you to really find for people that have thought about registering, but you can go in there and you can email them and you can approve them or remove them. Administrators, this is good from a safeguarding perspective. So the system allows you to give access rights to different people to the data. So you can give access to different features and functions of the site and to different data on the site. And as you do, they'll get added to this administrators group, so you can see who has access to the system. Members on the master membership list, but not belonging to a group, just a bit for you to, the system will highlight anybody that's on the system, but perhaps isn't on a membership category or in any other group. Lead members, you can link members together, and this will just identify who the lead members are. Members with an auto-generated email ID, bit of a mouthful, but the system uniquely recognizes people through a combination of their first name and email address. And of course, not everybody's got an email address. So when we import people onto the system, or maybe they give you a paper form without an email, you need to, so the system will assign them a dummy email address. And then we come into our membership categories that we've just set up, and we've got our groups that we've also set up. So earlier on, I added some juniors to the system. I put them into this, just into a holding group here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move them over to that junior membership category. So I'm going to select my members, and I can copy them to a new destination, which will basically mean they're going to stay in the same group but be moved somewhere else. Or I can move them. So I'm going to, in this instance, I'm going to move them. I'm going to move them to my junior membership category. Click on OK. And moving them to a membership category, the system recognizes that there's a cost involved for that membership category. So it's going to give me three options. It's going to say, hey, look, what do you want to do? Do you want to schedule a payment request now for these guys? Do you want to do it later? Or do you not want to schedule a payment request at all? So this box here, this is going to appear when we import your members in from a spreadsheet, if that's what we're going to do. If you add somebody manually to this system, or copy or move somebody to a group. So So if I select, okay, I'm going to schedule a payment request now. That will take a moment to think about it, and then it will come through to this payment request screen. So they're all my junior members. It's applied the £60. It said when it's going to send the payment request out. I can change these on an individual basis. Maybe Oscar here, maybe I don't know, £50 instead of 60. I can change the payment request date individually, or maybe I want to update that en masse. I can do that here by changing the payment request. Maybe I want to just schedule it all out to go out on the 1st of April. I can do that by applying a date there. I can also view the email that's going to go out to these guys. So if I click on the payment request description, so here it is, dear Matthew, this is to notify you that £60 is due. This is what it's for. This is your username, and this is the link to the member login page. So if I click on that link there, that's going to load up the login page. So when they're going to log in for the first time, they're going to create them, and then they'll be able to log in after they've done that. This page here, you can embed into your existing website, so it takes on the look and feel of your club, or you can simply link to it like we've done here. So that's all okay. We give you the option to turn off this payment request email. Now, the reason you might want to do that is somebody's given you a paper form, somebody's given you the money alongside that. So we don't want to request payment from these guys. So we're going to turn off the email. I'm actually just going to turn off the email here anyway, just because I don't want to send out 111 emails to dummy members. So once I'm happy that everybody's in the right place, this is the amount I want to request, I just click on save and finish. The email to them, and that will start the renewal process. So that was just a moment to go through. Okay, good, that's done. So the system works in 2-minute cycles, so it'll just take a moment or two for the system to process that. So whilst it's processing, let's just take a look at a member's record. So I'm going to delve into my junior membership category here. Okay, so if I want to add somebody to this membership category, I can click on here and I can add a new member. The form for that membership category will load up, and I can just come through here and input the information manually. You can import information in bulk, so this is what we would typically do at the beginning of the process, and this is what I've done a little earlier on today. I essentially just downloaded a template which consisted of all the fields that I added to the system. I copied and pasted an existing spreadsheet into that template, and then I uploaded it. Back one. Okay, so I'm going to look at, let's look at Aidan Barnett. Okay, so this is Aidan's record. So I can scroll through here and I can see all the information related to Aidan here. I can see any payment history, no payment history at the moment. This is quite typical where perhaps at the beginning of the process you've got some of the information, but you haven't got all of the information for members. That's fine, because when they log into their online account to pay, we'd be making these fields mandatory, so they're going to need to complete the fields before they can renew and pay. I can view outstanding payments for Aidan. If I click on that, the payment request has gone through, which it has now. I can see the standing for him. Maybe he's given us some money. I can record the fact that he's paid. Maybe he's only partly paid. I can change that figure there. Maybe he doesn't owe £60. Maybe it's going to be £40. I can change the figure there if I want to, and I can record how he's paid there. If I come back one here, I can see any upcoming payments. That's for any payments that have been scheduled for him. Let's say that Aidan was a senior member that was also a member of the committee. I can give him access rights to the system, so I can come in and say, okay, Aidan, I'm going to allow you to view members' information. Perhaps I'm going to allow you to edit and maybe send emails out. And then if I come down here and I can say I'm managing the under 10s, that's what I'm going to give you access to. So you can be very granular in what you can give access to. I mean, every feature, every function of the site is broken out, and you can turn stuff on, turn stuff off, and limit it to the groups that they can access. If I go back to his record, I can switch to Aidan's logins. So essentially, I can see what his is great from a support perspective, because you'll get members that will say, oh, I can't see this, can't do that. Well, by clicking that button there, you can go straight to what they see. So I can see here that Aidan is a member of the junior membership category. I can see any of the fields here. This here is one of my favorite fields, if not my favorite field. We've made this mandatory, and it talks about volunteering, and it breaks out all the things that you need help with at the club. And this is typically the question that on a paper form people will skip past, they don't answer. But if it's mandatory, they go nowhere until they answer it. So they can just tick one of these here. We also talk about sponsorship, that they know any sponsors, declarations, medical consent, agreeing to the club's constitution. And if I click on payment here, I can see the checkout page. So this is what Aidan's parents will see. They can come down here, they can select whether they want to pay in full or pay by instance. Just when we got this membership category, I don't know if you remember, enabled the instalment option. So if I select pay in full, total payable now is £60, and they can pay by direct debit or by card. But you'll notice that if I select pay by installments, the amount changes down to £20, and this pre-authorization button is now ticked and grayed out, which means that they have to pre-authorize payments to the club. So each time that the next installment is due, we can just go off and collect it automatically. And then they would simply choose how they want to pay. Well, for this demo account, I've connected a direct debit account and a PayPal account, so they can choose whether they want to pay by direct debit or pay by card. And typically, when I say direct debit, a lot of people think about recurring payments. It doesn't have to be a recurring payment, a single one. Simply tick the one I want. So I'm going to pay this one in full, £60 by direct debit. If I click on here, that then starts the online direct debit process. You'll see that this is the form for the direct debit. It passes information from PaySubs Online into the form, into the direct debit form. So it's very quick, very simple. And then they'll just come down here, complete anything they need to, like the sort code and their account number, set up a password, click on confirm, and then that then starts the direct debit process. So direct debit, it takes up to 6 working days to collect the first transaction. The money goes through the back system. We use the payment provider that we use for direct debit is called Go Cardless. They use RBS's process the payments, and will go directly into the club's bank account. So at no time does PaySubs Online hold A, any of your account information, and B, any of your money. Subsequent transactions take 3 working days. If I click back, just to go back to the checkout page, if I selected I wanted to pay by card and click on pay here, that will then load up a PayPal screen, where if the member has a PayPal account, they can simply log into it here, or if they don't, they can just click this link here and they can pay by card. With PayPal, the money is obviously paid by the member. It comes through PaySubs Online, where we deduct the PayPal fees. Our transaction fees and we deliver them to the club, that transaction flows. So again, no time do we hold any of your club funds. In a split second, it's from the member and it's in cleared funds in your PayPal account, which you then can just transfer over to your bank account as and when you want to do that. Okay, so let me go back to PaySubs Online. I'm going to switch back to the admin login, which was where we was at earlier on. So we've sent out our payment requests. If I now come over here to financials, once that initial payment request has gone out, you're spending your time in the payment reports, just really watching the money come in. So as people pay, the system will reconcile those payments automatically. I'm going to just record some offline payments, just so we've got some data to look at in the payment report. So I'm going to, and you'll typically do this as well, because not everybody's going to pay online. So click into our junior membership group here, and I'm just going to mark off some people as being paid. Okay, so let's tick off Matthew, Oscar, Peter, Aidan, Mohammed, John, and Hayden here has been paid, and then we can say how they paid. So pay by cash, you pay by check, one pay by bank transfer, check, that's all fine. Click on save. That's saved the payment. Okay, so now when we go to financials and payment reports, we can see here that we've got, first of all, our accounting period, so it's just set from 1 year today. We can see what our forecasted income is for the accounting period. So what the system does, it calculates what is going to be due within the next 12 months and gives us that figure. We can see what's been paid for the club, so £410 has been paid, and we can see what's outstanding for the club. And then you'll have a breakdown here in the table. So here you'll have all your different membership categories, so they'll all be listed out here. It will give you those figures for each membership category. And if I click on any of these numbers here, I can see the underlying information. So I can click that £410. And I can see, here you go, here's the guys that have paid. And if I click on here, I can see, I can also see a report of the different types of payment methods here. So if I click on that, at the moment we've got check, cash and bank transfer, but typically what you would see here is online direct debit and online PayPal transactions. If I come back over here to the financials, so this is the £6,000 that we've got outstanding. So if I click on that number there, it will bring me back everybody that's outstanding. Now we set the system up earlier on to send out a payment reminder. I think it was 10 or 14 days after the initial request. So once that those 10 days, let's say, it's expired or lapsed, the system will send out a reminder, and it will record here the fact that it sent out a reminder. But let's say, for example, people still aren't paying and we want to send them another chaser. All we simply do is select the members here, and then from the toolbar we would select email, and we would then simply write our email to the member. So yeah, name, and then we're back into that mail mode that we saw earlier on, and then we can just fire that off to the recipients. So it's very easy to keep track of who's paid, but also reach out to these people to encourage them to pay. We can also filter the amount outstanding by different groups. So here we've got £6,000 outstanding. Now we might want to say, okay, show me everybody in the under 10s that's outstanding. Now I actually didn't copy anybody into the under 10, so I'm going to get back no data, but you get the idea. Like, show me anybody in the in the senior first team that's not paid, and then you maybe want to export that report, send it over to the captain or the coach, to chase up the members for you. Exporting information from the payment reports is pretty easy. You can export the screen data, which is essentially just what you see here, or you can export detailed data. And detailed data is transactional information alongside membership information. So this report here at the moment is first name, last name, and pretty much what's outstanding. But I can include any other field in that report, and I can drag and drop things around to how I want it to appear. But I can also save the export criteria. So maybe this is a monthly report that you're running for your committee meeting. Well, once you've got the export criteria how you want it to be, what you don't want to do is each month to come back in here and select the field, reorder it, blah, blah, blah. You just want to be able to save that export criteria. So when you come back next month, you can just load that back up. So we're going to call this monthly export. Nice and easy for you to. Okay, so that's so far just a quick recap on what we've done. So we've set up our membership categories, we've set up the forms, we've added members to our membership category. I suppose the next thing to do is to look at the online form. So this is looking at it from a new member joining the club. So if I go to admin and settings, and if I scroll down to the bottom of this page, here are the three links that we give you. We give you the link to the registration page, the link to the member login page, and the link to the events page. These boxes under here allow you to determine where you want to send people to after they complete a process. You put the home page of your website in, so as they complete the registration process, they're sent back to your website. So if I click on this registration page here, and I would come in here, I would select the membership category I want to sign up for. So let's sign up for the seniors, and I just put in some test info in here, Joe Blogs. I would make all these fields mandatory, or certainly the fields that should be mandatory. I'd make it mandatory. People would come through, they would complete this information here, and they'd get down to the bottom. If they need to add anybody else, they can do, or they can just submit and proceed to the next page. I need to enter my email address. Submit to the next page, and then move to a checkout page, which summarizes what I've signed up for, who I am, what the amount outstanding is, and then gives me the option to pay one of those payment options that will then launch me into the payment process. So very simple for a new member joining. Give them the options, they select the options, they complete the form, and they can pay. Okay, scrolling back up the top here, we talked earlier on about how you can use the system to help the club raise money. Typically, the system more than pays for itself through better transparency of who owes what. That increases your collection rates. But we also give you a couple of fundraising tools here. So one is a supporters club. So a supporters club or a 100 club is a form of a club lottery where people buy a number, then maybe you make a monthly draw, maybe they pay a monthly fee for the supporters club. So if I click on that there, I can call it, and we'll just call it a little bit blurb about the 100 Club and what it is that perhaps you're trying to raise money for. Please play along, whatever you want to put in there. The cost of the supporters club, let's say it's £5, and let's say it's a recurring payment, £5 a month. Limit the numbers that can join the supporters club. No, we're happy to take as much money as we can raise. Just a point on that, with just 100 a month for a supporters club, the club can raise about £4 grand a year. So it's a great fundraiser. We can decide who can join the supporters club. So if you've got a long list of membership categories, you can essentially select who can sign up to it. Then we can display the option to join the supporters club on the registration form of the selection above. Yeah, we want to do that. There's a standalone option for people to register for via the registration page. Maybe you can get your members' close family to sign up for the registration page by making an option on there. Request payment at the point of registration, yeah, definitely. And we can display it in the member's online account for the selection above. So that means that when a member logs into their account to pay for their annual membership, the option for the 100 club will be there. So I'm going to say, yep, I want to do that. And then the next option, I'm guessing here, will be the email template. It just looks like we've lost connectivity for a second there. Okay, we lost connectivity during that process, but then let's very quickly do that again. So we're just having some internet connectivity issues. Okay, we're back on 100 club. Now, £5 in monthly payment. It's dropping out. Definitely doesn't like that. Okay, maybe I'm going to come back to that. Okay, there's also an option to set up a donation appeal. So people can donate money to the club. You can set that up to be a one-off donation or a regular donation. And again, you can put that on the registration page. You can make it a standalone option for people to donate, and you can put it in the members' login as well. So when they log in to pay, they can select the option to donate, and you can put a suggestion in there. So I might say a suggested an example. Just covering a couple of other things. I don't want to over bamboozle you here, but there's an option to set up events. So if you wanted to set up an event for, maybe it's a fundraising event, maybe it's a social event, you can come down here and you can set an event up. An event can be made up of one category or multiple categories. So for example, an event for members and non-members. And you can essentially sell tickets for things through the system. We've got a demo for setting up events, so if you'd like to see that, drop me an email at david@paysubs.online and I'll send you a link to the events demo. And I suppose the one last thing that I really want to show you is how simple it is to do the renewal after the first season of using the system. You very simply just come over to the subscription options and then your membership categories, and you click on renew, and the system will say to you, okay, well, first thing we want to do is we want to rename the membership category to say 2016, for example. So when that loads up, we're just thinking about doing, yeah, there we go. So we're going to call this 2016. So we're in April, March time next year. We can change the cost of the membership category. We can review the settings of it. I'm going to select no to that for the moment. I'm going to the next page and says, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to renew everybody in the old membership category, or do you just want to renew the members that paid? Because typically they're going to be your members for the new season. So if I selected, okay, just the ones that paid, and click on next, The system will then ask me, do I want to schedule a payment request now, later, or not at all? Okay, I want to schedule it now. And then we're back through to that screen that we saw earlier on. So here's the guys that paid, because we marked them off as being paid earlier on. We can check the email that's going to go out, make sure that's all hunky-dory. That all looks good, 2016 juniors. Click on save and finish, and that's it. That's your renewal process done in literally 4 or 5 clicks. Email goes out to the members, members log in and pay, system collects the money, and it reconciles the payment for you. So it's super quick, super simple the following season. But do remember that the initial season that you start using the system, that we do that setup process for you. We literally get you to this point anyway, where we're just going to click on save and finish, and it will go out. I think that's probably enough information for you guys at the moment. Hopefully that's given you a really good overview of how you can manage your membership online, what life looks like after Excel. The processes there are really designed to help you save time using the system. And I suppose a good testament to this, if I just come over to our homepage and look at some of the case studies on here, so it will just give you an idea of the amount of time that the system can save you, but also the amount of money that the system can help you raise. So of course there are going to be some cost considerations, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But really, the save you 90% on your membership and administration. We're having real trouble here with the internet connection. Things are running very slowly. So just whilst that's loading up, I'll touch upon the pricing because it's probably the most commonly asked question. So there's 2 elements of cost to the system. One is the cost to the annual, it's the cost for the license fee. So for up to 200 members, it's £50 a year, and for up to 500 members, it's £75 a year, and it just increments slightly as you go up through the membership levels. And then there's the transactions fee. So when a member pays online, if they pay by debit or credit card, it's 3.95% plus 50p per transaction. The pay by direct debit, it's 2.95% per transaction with no fixed fee. And we deduct those fees at the point of the transaction itself. So as I mentioned earlier on, the system really does tend to pay for itself just by better collection rates for events, more attendance and events through the fundraising tools here. And as I just scroll through some of these examples here, we can see how people are using the system to increase income and to reduce administration. In terms of next steps, clearly this is a decision for committee handout document, which I'll send you just as a matter of course after today's demo. In that committee handout, it will just detail what the system can do for the different roles in the committee. So what it does for the membership secretary, what it can do for the treasury officer, the safeguarding officer, the coaches, the captains. And then if you did want to go ahead and trial the system, then you would just need to go to our home page up here, register for a free trial. We offer, as I mentioned earlier on, a setup service. We do one-on-one online training. The support you get will be very personalized. We'll step you through, we'll hold your hand during the initial process, and then ongoing you can always reach us on email, on telephone and on chat. So that's a demo. I hope it's given you a good insight of how things can now be managed online with the beauty of technology. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email and I will respond to the questions as they come in. thanks for your time this evening, and I will hopefully hear from some of you soon. Many thanks.